we've beaten half of the game, and now it really steps it up. Stage 4 is the first stage where you're really gonna start to die to normal enemies, and not just, you know, bosses. It also houses the dreadful books. The best way to fight these enemies is to, you know, the spirit things, is to kill them as they come onto the screen. By the way, that was the stupidest death ever, and I cannot believe that happened to me. Either way, the best way to fight these spirit enemies is to shoot on the far side of the screen, so that then when they come into the screen, nothing happens. As in, they die. You get the point. Just like I'm doing here. Later on, it will be a necessity. The books. I like the books. I think they're a reasonable challenge and not all that tough. Then again, maybe it's just me. I don't think I ever die in the books. Mid-boss. Her name is Japanese for Little Devil, and I can't for my life remember that. You know what it's pronounced like. And she's short, sweet, and not very hard. Those big bullets are notable though. You should know that they only hit you when you're in the center. The outside is pretty much harmless. Other than that, she's just, you know, kind of a breather. The rest of the stage is relatively tough. The books that shoot blue bullets, you know, that track you, I haven't actually noticed they're killable until I played on easy a while ago. Which is quite an accomplishment, because I've been playing this game for a couple of years. As in a year and a bit. Fuck that. These fairies that shoot bullets in circles, they might seem dangerous, but they're only here to help you. Without them, these parts would be murder. Also, I get a lot of points. Pretty much the final part of the stage, and it's the only one that requires memorization, if you ask me. If you don't kill these spirit guys as they come out, you're gonna get easily killed by the myriad bullets that they shoot out. Regardless, once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Just remember to get the points. This is kind of a last barrage before Patchouli. If you're good, you can get a bunch of points here. Or I guess if you use a bomb. I'm not all that good. Patchouli! Patchouli is special in more ways than one. For one, she's really hard. But that's not all that special, is it? Let's get on with it. While Rumia, and I think a couple of other bosses maybe, shows some of her attacks randomly, Patchouli has a very clear pattern. Specifically, for each character she uses different spell cards. Also, I am horrible and should have never died at Rage Trilithion. Back to business. Patchouli is the first boss to seriously use spell cards, but she doesn't need them. Her non-directional lasers can murder you in seconds. And the sharks that are around, they're not helping. I probably shouldn't have bombed though, but I guess it is really better safe than sorry. Metal Fatigue, I like the attack. I almost always bomb it, even though I seem to almost manage it. But yeah, Emerald Megalith, probably the easiest attack on Patchouli's repertoire when playing against Marisa B. The trick with this attack is, again, the big bullets. They only hit you around their insides. So the main function here is not to kill you, but rather to make you panic, and also to make you not notice the little green bullets. Relatively simple. Water Elf is Patchouli's final attack as Marisa B when you're playing as Marisa B on normal. I can beat it, I don't do it often because it's long and tiring. And you have to move very slightly. I just don't like it. Stage 5. At this point the stages become real threats. Stage 4 was, if you thought stage 4 was dangerous, wait until you see this one. And without mentioning the boss here, she's probably the hardest boss in the game, including the final boss on normal. I'm not including the extra boss here, of course. And yes, I fought her. I only reached about the second spell card. Here I make a terrible mistake. I should have never tried to collect the items at that point. Because you see, the fairies that come down and shoot huge circles of bullets, these fairies, their attacks get much easier to dodge if you simply don't move. It's very possible to dodge through this entire attack phase, but I always seem to screw it up. Those daggers, it's kinda hard to go through them, you know, between the gaps. Misdirection! Relatively easy attack if you know what to do. You have to not move. Unfortunately, I can't listen to myself and have to bomb it out. Another of those, you know, literal bullet hell screens. I find this reminiscent of the books that you can very easily make this attack way easier by sticking to one side of the screen and thus killing half the fairies before they come out. Otherwise, you know, a normal attack wears you down before the boss. Final phase. Again, the trick is to not move. You move very slightly every time. Here you move just as the last fairies fire their shots, and no problem. Sakuya. She's a real menacing boss. I think she's harder than the final boss in some aspects. This first attack phase is probably one of her easiest ones, and that's saying something. I can usually dodge through it all though. Clock Corpse, the only one of her knife attacks that is remotely dodgeable. Knife spellcards there is. You have to notice the pattern, and even then it's kinda tough. And if you don't notice, as in, if you don't pay attention to the small bullets, they'll get you. Just like, well, just watch. This was probably my first ever attempt that came close to capturing this card, but alas, no luck. This attack seems very similar to the first one when you look at it, but in fact the daggers will reflect, not the knives, the daggers, kunais I guess, whatever, reflect from the walls. It's really hectic, and well, you just gotta be a bit lucky. Luna Clock. I almost always bomb this attack. The green daggers go to random directions, and they're very, very annoying. The only way I've managed to find to dodge it is to go around the entire bunch of daggers. But yeah, it's hard. This attack is relatively simple, but of course my brain can't listen to me, and I die. Marionette. Her final attack on normal. You can see here the strategy that I mentioned about Luna Clock. Go around the entire wad of bullets. However, I can't really continue this. I bomb out here even though I probably shouldn't have. Ah well. That was Sakuya. Final stage is coming up next.